Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Anthwon Thomas back again with another podcast episode of the High Value Agent, where we inspire people to create a better life through real estate. And joining me today is my man, Sam McClellan. Sam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. The sun's shining, and I get to be here. This is a good day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm happy you're here, man. And so Sam is a real estate advisor on our team that has accomplished a lot of great things in a remarkably short time. And actually, Sam is a repeat guest. He was on here, I don't know, I want to say maybe this time last year ish. Um,
Yeah, I think it was. I think I was in the. It might have been 5 months in, so maybe
okay.
November or December of last year.
Okay. Cool. So Sam has, up to this point, been able to experience a lot in his career just because of the activity and the effort that he puts in. I mean, to believe it or not, he's already done more business than majority of the agents that you probably know. So I think he's a great person to listen to. Here's why you should stick around. We're going to unpack the lessons that he has learned up to this point. The power of being on a positive team, not just any team, but a positive team. And then also the core activities that got him to help 21 families in 9 months. Because right now, at the time of shooting this podcast episode, we're in September. He's already helped 21 families. So that's why you should probably stick around all the way to the end and listen to the message he's going to share, because he's somebody who's in the trenches every single day building a business. Okay. And he's getting great success. And by the way, you'll probably be surprised as to what he's doing to get great success. All right. So, all right, man. Well, I'm gonna just rapid fire. I'm just gonna throw a lot of questions at you, and I know you're gonna definitely honor the audience and give them the real. So let's hop right into it. So,
My favorite.
how did you get to where you're at today? Like, kind of let's reflect a little bit. How did you get to where you're at today?
Um, let's let's. I'll say maybe four different things got me there. Um, the very first and the most important is that I had to. I for those of you that don't know, I was a teacher and aspiring administrator, and felt very strongly called to that. For to lack of a better term, but it just became there was no return, not financially and position wise, but there was no emotional return. I, in the time of trying to become an administrator, had two kids. Um, and I just realized that every time I came home, I was teaching, 120 kids. I was pouring into 120 families, other kids, and I had nothing to give to my kids when I came home. So I had to change. So that's the first one. Um, the next two things that got me here, I mean, the biggest thing that I harp on every single day, anytime we pray as a team, the thing that I am always thanking God for is the team that I'm a part of. Um, I'm not saying that lone wolf real estate isn't something that other people succeed at. I know they do, but I know myself. A large portion of any of my success comes from the support and the encouragement and the accountability of the team that I'm a part of. Um, and then the last and just as big piece is trusting the process. I mean, I know what I need to do, and I'm a numbers guy. I really appreciate being able to see evidence, and like we as a team are watching our numbers on a regular basis. We know how many calls, how many conversations we need to have to do business. We know how many signed clients we need to have to do business, and so on and so forth. And so because of that, I can reverse engineer what I want to achieve, and I can know exactly what it is I need to do to get there.
Mhm.
So the only thing that the only thing that holds me back from achieving the thing that I want to achieve, which, the only thing holding me back is me. Whether or not it's a mindset thing, thinking I'm capable or worthy of achieving those things, or just deciding to one day not follow and trust the process that has been granting me this success. Um, so I'd say those are probably the three biggest things. Like I had to, my family depends on me. Um, and then the team, the people that I'm surrounded by, and finally the just doing the things that are necessary to achieve that, following the process for sure.
That's awesome, man. And I appreciate you going into detail about that. I really appreciate the fact that when you got into real estate, it was, I'm going to make this work because I have to. Like that all or nothing mindset, it's so critical when it comes to starting something new, right? Like there's no option B, no option C, it's only option A. So that's awesome. Um so knowing what you know now, what do you think most agents get wrong about their business?
Whew. I mean, there's it's hard to speak into that just because I know, at least I have a feeling, what I am doing, the part of the team that I'm a part of, is not the average agent's experience, not just in our market, but in the market in general. So I can only speculate, really. But I mean, the first thing that pops out. I mean, I'm following plenty of realtors, or I'm getting plenty of paid and directed ads on social media these days of like, cold calling's dead. Follow this system with YouTube ads, and you'll double your listings and cut your conversations in half, or not have to make phone calls ever again. Screw that. Like, quit being scared. Just have conversations with people.
Yeah.
Um, because, okay, fine. Let's say those systems work. I'm not saying they are, but let's say they work. We also know that making phone calls works, so why not do both of them? Um, and even if you do want to cut your phone calls down, you then have to then talk with your new client because of this magic system throughout the entire transaction. So
Yep.
get used to talking with strangers so you can be even better talking with your clients who were strangers at one point. So just have conversations and be, I mean, work on yourself to be confident and, I
Yeah.
mean, authoritative, not lying to your clients, not giving the impression of confidence, but being confident. Um, you know, I've had a couple conversations with folks in the past that have worked with agents that I'm familiar with, and they walked into our house and we were thinking we were gonna sign with them, and we just kind of talked and got a vibe and decided to work with them. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I mean, but did they talk about legitimately how much you could afford to make in the process? Did they talk about everything in very excruciating detail, what they're going to do to get your home in front of as many people as possible? Did they even give you an idea of how long it could take?
Mm.
Um, there's this there. Be authoritative. It's just, you're a professional. You're not just dicking around as an agent because you like doing it in your pastime. It's
Yeah.
something you're trying to accomplish and so be serious about it.
Yeah. And that's perfect because again, you talked about all or nothing. Like when I got into real estate, I took it serious. The high value agent is going to build rapport with you, but they're also going to break down in very clear detail a process that's going to help said client get what they want in the time they want. And that's where when you could put both together, you're a high value agent. You're not just depending on vibes, right?
Yeah,
Right.
like I followed I signed a buyer yesterday, and that buyer had worked with an agent a few months ago. They had set their contract for 3 months or 2 months or whatever. And afterwards I asked, did your agent prior to this do anything that I did? Um, and his description of it was, no, we just talked, and then we signed a document, and then we walked into houses. And as far as I know, the communication was lacking after that. He tried to get a hold of them multiple times as he and I were communicating to figure out, okay, am I still tied to them, or can I find a new agent at this point? And even to get that question answered took him about a week and a half of follow-up with his agent to find out. So, I mean, the process that we lay out is clear, and just going on vibes. I mean, it works for some folks. It works for some folks.
Yep. It works for some, and for some, it works very well.
Mhm.
But the problem is what happens when that agent comes across as Sam. For example, that client who I'm one the agent that my thing is vibes, right? Like, let me just make sure the vibes are good. And that's my only approach. I meet with that client, but the client says, you know what, you're great, but I'm meeting with another agent. Oh, who's that other agent? Sam, he's over at Silver Lining. Okay. Woo! Because Sam's going to also have great vibes, but he brings a whole nother variable. It's I am a true professional following a proven process. Again, it works until it doesn't work, right? That whole vibe thing and leaning heavy on building a business based on good vibes.
Yeah.
So my people, pay attention to that. If you're somebody out there and you don't have a presentation, whether it's a buyer or a seller presentation,
Mhm.
that you can get in front of them and you can take them from stranger to client, and they can go to sleep at night feeling good about their choice to hire you. If you don't have a presentation like that, get one, because Sam does.
Yeah.
Sam has one. Okay. He has a buyer one and he has a seller one. Hey, you sparked the thought in my head. And this is why I love talking to perspicacious people. I think it's very good to be able to have intelligent conversations. A thought that I had was when you were talking about having conversations with people. I see it every day. Why are we not talking to more people? What's the challenge? Tell me, when you got into real estate and you are one of the people on the team who you're talking to people, you're building and maintaining relationships every single day. Did you have a challenge of like talking to people to where you were like, that maybe it was fear, maybe I don't know, but oh, I don't want to make these calls. I don't want to do what if you had that, explain that for us and then explain what you did to overcome that.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. You know, as a team, we're bringing on new team members on a fairly frequent basis, and so we get to have this conversation quite a lot. And it's good to be reminded that at one point I was as well. And don't get me wrong, there are still some folks that I have conversations with that do make me nervous, and I think that was it. Is just I was nervous,
Yeah.
and you know, fear of the unknown. Like I had never just called people. You know, my generation and beyond. I think we in general don't really like to be on the phone anyway. Maybe it's because there's a certain amount of vulnerability of actually having a conversation with someone. Um, and then sure, I mean, was I afraid of being rejected? Was I afraid of being, you know, of I don't know, making someone else uncomfortable or making myself uncomfortable, or maybe I'm just afraid of just not succeeding. Um,
Mhm.
you know, and I mean, I don't know if this works for everyone. I think it worked for me. At the end of the day, I was told that having conversations is what will bring the success I want. So I trusted it, not just because it was something I was told, but because I had seen this team member do it. I had watched another team member do it that had just joined the team 6 months before me, um, or this team member who's deep in the real estate world, and it's like there's this team out in San Diego, there's this team out in Boston, and they're having 100 conversations every 2 days, and they're closing 50
Yeah.
million every 3 weeks. Like it's working.
Yeah. Yep.
So to one degree or another, it was just put my head down and make it happen. Um, and then the other side of it was it was practicing some of these particularly difficult conversations to navigate with my teammates. Again, this is me harping on the team. Like we were all working on asking for the appointment about a week ago, and I didn't feel like I got a good enough sense of it during that. So a teammate of mine and I sat down afterwards, and we walked through that a couple more times, and then that started to really make a lot more sense. And this teammate has 5 years of experience on me, and even he was having trouble with that part. So we got to build each other on that front.
Mhm.
So, I mean, some of it's just doing it, just do the thing.
Yep.
And then the other side of it is, you practice the thing. I mean, you don't want to practice on the client. Sometimes you kind of have to, because you're having the conversations on a daily, or you should be having those conversations on a daily basis.
Yep.
But you got a teammate, and it's not just going to benefit you to practice it. It'll benefit them for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I hear you saying the power of collaboration is important. The not allowing the fear or the nervousness to dictate your future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your future successes, whether it's in your family, your income, whatever it may be. And then also to just believe in when you look left and right. And this is kind of part of the power of collaboration. But when you see other people that have been here and they're doing the thing and they've gotten a lot of success, you're kind of like, well, why can't I do the same thing and get the same or even better success? So,
Yeah.
but we still have that struggle, and it's probably gonna always be an agent struggle nationwide of you got to make your phone calls. And I told the team earlier this week, if I'm making a phone call right now, I'm nervous before the first call.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nervous, but I get quickly into the flow. But that first one, I gotta like, okay, you got this. You've been here before. There's nothing that you've not seen or experienced up to this point that's gonna throw you off. So you got this. So in other words, people, GOI, just get over it
Get over it.
and make the damn call, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, I believe, and let me pull up something real quick. So if you just want to know, like, what we're talking about is real, I pulled up Follow Up Boss because we use Follow Up Boss as a CRM. And Sam has 128 conversations so far this month.
And that's just recorded in that CRM.
Yeah. 128. Yeah, because Sam also, when he talked about earlier, cold calling and circle prospecting, Sam does partake in that as well. And those conversations aren't necessarily in Follow Up Boss. So he could have another 20 to 30. But when you talk about doing 21 deals in 9 months, especially in today's market with the way things are going, this is the type of effort that is required, so just learn from Sam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So far, man, what would you say is your proudest moment?
So I set out a goal this year to pay for a kitchen remodel.
Yes.
And it's, I haven't paid for it outright. All right. That hasn't happened yet. It's going to, I know that. But because I'm on this team, and because I'm doing what I'm doing, one, I've learned a lot about resources that are available to me in a real estate sense. My home equity line of credit was never on my radar. Now it is, and we were able to utilize this incredible amount of equity that we have in our home, because we bought our home. We bought our home in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I don't know many other investments, and sure, COVID might be a little bit of a unique situation, but still, we've lived in our home for 4 years, and we put a good down payment, and we've paid extra per month on our monthly payments for the past 4 years. And so we've followed the strategies necessary to build our equity. But the market appreciation over the last 4 years, based on the appraisal we got for the HELOC, is almost twice as much as what we've paid down over the past 4 years. So I've learned that from being on this team. That's just one small thing.
Mm-hmm.
But probably my proudest is setting a goal to pay for a kitchen and doing the thing. Like I did that. I gave my wife the kitchen she wants, and that is. I mean, that's. I mean, I know sometimes some people land a little bit differently on this, but as a husband and as a father, it brings me incredible pride to know I'm giving my wife and kids what they want, well, what they need first, and then
Yeah.
what they want.
Yes.
um, so it's we've got these posters in our office that has the number of houses that we should close based on our data in order to achieve our financial goal per year. And everyone has a different goal, whether it be to get a vacation home, or their spouse can stop working or stop working as much, or whatever. And I decided at the beginning of this year to actually write my goal on it, and I just put
Yeah.
kitchen in big capital letters, and it's done. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably one of the coolest things there. Probably one of the coolest things so far. And that's really specific. My other thing is, there's been just a couple small moments over the past couple months. Like, I don't know. I've had $2 million pending months and $2 million closed months this year. Um,
Yep.
and I don't know. I don't know if I ever expected that to happen. I heard one of my teammates the other day, and he's probably the most experienced member of our team outside of you. At one point, he wasn't meaning to communicate it to me, but he was like, "Sam's got a strong price point."
Yeah.
And
Yep.
like, it's cool. That doesn't matter that much, but it's cool to hear an experienced teammate think what I'm doing is good.
Yeah.
Um, and then another small one is, I'm actually enjoying being on social media now.
Good.
And I mean, well enough, when you and I first spoke, and you said part of the process is being on social media, and I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but effectively I said, if social media could be a make or break for me in this job.
Yep.
Um, and
Yep.
now I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying that part of the job.
That's awesome. Um, Man, that's good stuff. I actually want you, I think it's important for people to understand the work that you put in and other people on the team. Like, we work hard to work on our personal development, right?
Mhm.
Like, we're constantly, I feel like we're constantly like in this uh environment of tension, but
Mhm.
it's healthy
Mhm.
because we have a thing called implied accountability, meaning, oh, if I don't show up today, I'm going to feel guilty for not being there and putting in the work alongside my teammates.
Mhm.
But then we have like actual accountability, where we consider accountability on our team to be love, to be nurture, care.
Yep.
And we're that's very important to us, to the point where it's one of our values and one of our principles, right?
Mhm.
Through that process of constant tension and accountability and training and that push to grow, what impact has that had on your clients?
Well, I mean, I just had a conversation with a client yesterday asking them how I've been doing, how myself and my other teammate who have partnered for this client together, which, first off, that's one thing. I mean, we as a team work together to help our clients. Um, but this client in particular said they've bought 5 or 6 homes, in the course of their life. Both, she's retired and he's near retirement. They've got kids that are married, and um, maybe what's the word, and maybe even grandkids on the way. I'm not sure, but they've bought and sold 5 or 6 homes in their life, which, to even as a home owner, not as an agent, but as a home owner, seems like a lot. Um, and they said this is by far the best experience we've had in real estate ever. My
Mhm.
teammate Molly helped them buy their home, and I'm helping them sell their home. And they said the entire time, both times, selling and buying, we have not felt in the dark. And that's probably, I mean, that's the thing that's growing, that's dawning on me in this business, that like the value that I provide, sure, is you got a house or you sold your house, you made money, great. But is that you felt part of the process rather than the
Mhm.
process just happening to you. Um, so, I mean, that's probably that right there is the coolest part about the growth that I've seen over the past well, at this point now, 12-ish month, 14 months being in the business. Um, that like I go from a fairly rough transaction, my very first one,
Yeah.
to where every time I call that one particular client, I'm always nervous. That's the one guy that I'm still nervous about calling. To now this one where my clients, I mean, these clients left a 5-star review for Molly. I know they're going to leave a 5-star review for me.
Mhm.
It's satisfying.
That's awesome, dude. And that's what I know is important to you, is being able to go home to your family and you have so much fulfillment in your work that you did that day, to where you're not drained,
Hmm.
but your cup is filled, and now you can give even more to your family when you get home at night. So that's important to me. And you said that to me. You kind of mentioned it earlier today on the podcast, that was important. So that's
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
Um, so if we had a new agent joining us today,
Hmm.
no, actually, we have an agent on our team that's struggling, and let's say they've been on the team for 6 months plus, okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they're struggling mentally, um, and trying to figure out, how can I get some momentum?
Hmm.
How can I get Sam? How can I get to where you're at? How would you, if I'm not agent, let's just say me, how would you support me in that? Because at one point you were there, right? You were, I got to build some momentum. I want to get things going, right? And
Hmm.
those are challenging moments.
Yeah.
If I were coming to you, what would you say to me in those moments to help me get on track and build some momentum?
Well, ironically enough, I had a conversation with pretty much that exact person last week, on our team, and there were a couple, like there were some pretty practical things I suggested, um, but then on the other side of things, just in general, like the very core principles. I mean, just put your head down. I mean, not just put your head down to work, but put your head down to stop looking at everyone else around you and saying, "Well, that person has success. Why don't I?" Or "That person has success. Why don't I?" And that's not easy. That's not easy for anyone. It's especially not easy for me. I mean, I am my entire, probably my entire adult life has been characterized by me seeing what other people have that I don't.
Mm,
Um, Thankfully, I'm now in a position where I not only am surrounded by people and processes that allow me to see what other people have and get it, um, but I'm also my inside, my mindset is changing to believe that I can. But the biggest thing that I said is, I mean, one, we've all been there. We've we've all been in dry spells. Um, we've all felt this frustration, like I'm not where I want to be. Okay, so what exactly do you need to do to get there? Are you doing it? Can you do more?
mm,
um, and I remember I met this, I actually had this exact conversation with a teammate probably about 6 months in. um, yeah, 4 months maybe. And I asked, like, I'm frustrated. I'm not going anywhere. This other teammate of mine that joined at the same time is seeing so much more success and doing literally the exact same thing. We were doing the exact same thing. Um, and yet she was seeing more success than I was. And this teammate of mine suggested, again, same thing. Keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. Everyone's been there. And then we got into some pretty practical things. Um, so, like, one of the things that the two things he suggested, and at this was the inflection point that changed.
mm,
He suggested staying late one night a week and making calls on a Saturday.
mm,
Okay. Um, I didn't like that, but I did it. And I can't say that the business that then came afterwards came from those late night calls and Saturday calls, but something there changed, and I saw momentum. I saw some growing momentum there, and so one of the things that I suggested to my teammate who was in this exact same position after the important things, the mindset, we're all there, we've all been there, and just keep doing what you have to do, was then got into some practical things. Okay, so like you said, Follow Up Boss is the CRM we use. I asked him, how many dials do you make per session on a regular basis? And he said, probably about 50, and then I call it done. Okay, make 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pick a list of 100 people, make those dials, and then switch up where they're coming from. For those of you that are familiar with FUB, we have subdivided our leads into a couple different buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And as a team, we all filter through the exact same buckets and pretty much the exact same levels of buckets. So I suggested to him, pick a place that most people don't go. Like, try just outright circle prospecting. Get out of the what's now comfortable. He's gotten good on the phones. He's gotten confident having conversations. Get uncomfortable again.
Mm-hmm.
Try circle prospecting. Use Fellow, which is a really great listing data service that we use. Try some Fellow groups, or one of the things we found recently, looking at a couple different filters on our CRM, is we have like 5,000 leads, 5,000 possibilities that haven't been communicated with us at least within the last 30 days, if not at all, either by phone, text, or email even. And usually the email can catch someone.
Yeah.
So like, do that. Like, this is a list that
Mm-hmm.
none of us are calling.
Yeah.
So just pick something different. And I'm not saying the business will come from that, but something about switching it up just did it for me. It gave me momentum moving forward.
That's good. I hope you guys took notes there. One thing, as we get a little like just a tactical approach, when you are, whether you got Follow Up Boss or Boomtown or whatever CRM you use, if you have leads in there, you should be texting and calling, and that should be a 2-to-1 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So if your texting numbers are low, but your dials are extremely high, I'd recommend every person you call, don't even leave a voicemail. Call, text after, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can move on to the next person. We can go very deep on that, but that is a whole nother podcast episode that we're not going to touch on right now. But just to give you guys a little more value, your text to call should be 2-to-1, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to get ready to wrap it up because Sam's super busy today. And again, I appreciate you hopping on this episode, because I know it's going to help a lot of people out there, especially right now. Like last year, 71%, and you know this, 71% of the entire agent population sold 0 homes.
Mm-hmm.
They're projecting for it to be very similar this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's going to be a lot of people that will listen to this or watch it, and they're going to get some great takeaways. So I appreciate your time.
I'm going to add one more thing before we wrap up. One of the things that did change my mindset, and and don't get me wrong, I'm a person who tends to think of comparison as the thief of joy. Now I know there are other folks that I look to that believe comparison is a motivation, which is awesome, and I want to get there. But the thing that I have had a hard time doing is detaching myself from the outcomes, from how many I've closed, how many clients I've helped, how many dollars I've made. Don't get me wrong, that's important. I'm not saying it's not, because it is. But the thing that I did very specifically, even just a few weeks ago, not just a few weeks ago, but call it a few weeks ago, was reevaluated my calendar, my schedule, and if I can if I can make sure I've done this much time of phone calls to new people, made sure that I've followed up with every one of my people in my pipeline that I have every single day. I've posted on social media at least once. Um, and those are the three biggest things, really. Some other small things in there, but if those three things happen, then I've given myself permission to say I won the day.
I love
Um,
that.
I did the thing I was supposed to do, and that has been a huge help because then it's not, well, I'm not a very good agent because even though I've closed 20 deals, I've made less money than this other guy who's done 15 deals. I guess that it, sure, I get that, and that's something you can work towards in these three things first. Um, you're not gonna make more money by worrying about your money. I don't know. You're going to
True.
make more money by doing the things you have to do that earn you the money.
Yes.
Um, so like today, my our childcare schedule is different today, and so I'm actually taking half day. Um, and so I know that when I've done the things that I need to do today, I can go home and be with my girls and be done.
Mm,
Um, so just give your tell yourself what you have to do to have done your job that day, and then once you've done it, give yourself permission to say good job.
I love that, dude. That's awesome. And thank you for adding that. Last question. Last question.
Yeah.
So, how has the coaching and training that's been poured into you, right? Um, how has that helped you grow your business?
I mean, if we're looking at the numbers, immensely. you know um, but the really it comes the coach all the coaching can make my business a million times better. It can make a business 100 times better, 1,000 times better, but it only comes down to have I changed my behavior as a result of my coaching. Um, and so, like when we meet with a coach out of Myrtle Beach, I think, on a fairly regular basis,
Yep.
um, and we had a training on following up with people in our pipeline a few weeks ago. She gave us homework to pick three things and do them. Then we had basically the exact same training earlier this week, and one of
Yep.
the first questions she asked is, "I gave you homework. How many did the thing?" And I won't say how many people did or didn't, but I did. um,
One person
and
did it, and it was Sam.
yeah, okay, fine. And that thing hasn't changed my business yet. Could it? And do I believe it will? Yes. Um, but that training, that coaching, all of this stuff, it only makes my business better in as much as I use it.
Yes.
Um, so it's great. It's really good stuff. Um, but if I don't use it, then I've just got a notebook full of notes that I'm going to throw away in 3 years.
Yep. That's good. That's good. Cool, man. Well, I again want to honor you and your time. Appreciate you helping on this. I know this is going to be valuable for people watching. Now, for my agents who maybe you're looking to get into real estate, maybe you're already in real estate, you want to learn more about whether it's our team, our brokerage, you want to learn more about Sam and how he's been able to build his business and tap into his mind. How can people reach out to you, Sam?
You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, or you can just head to our website, Silver Lining Real Estate Group, and you can find my profile with my website and my email address. I wish I had my handles memorized, but I don't right now. But if we can link that in this podcast episode in the future, it'll be there.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to talk with anyone who's excited about this, who's excited about the business, and excited about maybe even just, I'm not going to get so mushy gushy as to say change your life, but um, I I went from being an educator where I was drained on a daily basis, unsupported, and had zero desire to become a better teacher, um, because the return wasn't there. Now there are some great teachers out there that have all the desire to be better teachers because the return is in how their students perform. And I honor them so much. At the end of the day, though, for me, I wanted to be a good teacher, but I also wanted to be a good provider to my family. And no amount of continuing education or master's degrees was going to make a world of difference in what I could earn and provide for my family. And so this job has, again, allowed me the opportunity to connect my work ethic and my desire to build on myself with what I can do for my family.
Mhm.
So I would love to be able to talk with anyone who's grown up in the late 90s, early 2000s, who's been told, get a degree, get a good job, and now they found out that it's not exactly the way that turned out.
Yeah.
You can have a very successful career and not need a degree.
Yep. You're looking at one. I
And
am
you're
I'm a college dropout, and I think I'm doing pretty well for myself.
and you're looking
But
at someone who's had a master's degree and has nothing to show for it.
but that's why we're important, right? Is we
Yeah.
can come from both perspectives.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing. By the way, we will have clients that will watch us, I'm sure, because I've had
Mhm.
clients reach out before saying that they love the podcast and how real it is.
Mhm.
If you are a buyer or a seller
Mhm.
and you want, in my opinion, and I could be biased, but if you're an agent with silver lining, with the training, with the coaching, with the mindset, we are the cream of the crop. We are the best of the best. If you want an agent who's going to like aggressively go to war for you to protect your best interests, reach out to Sam. He's a great, I'm telling you, he's one of the best agents I've ever met. Sam, SAM at SLREG.com. Send him an email, hit him up on Facebook or social media, reach out to him. He's going to be there to take care of you. So
It's actually Samuel at
Samuel, oh my
slrg.com.
goodness. Well, we got two Sams.
Yeah, we got two Sams on the
Samuel,
team. Yep.
SAMUEL
There you go.
at SLREG.com. Sorry about that.
I look forward to meeting you.
Yes. All right, y'all. Hey, you know what to do. I'll say it at the end of every episode. You got to go out there. You got to be strong. You got to put the work in. It's not going to come to you. You got to go make things happen. So, Sam, appreciate you, man. On the next one, and the plan is to get more guests. It's been a while since we've had one,
Mhm.
but we will have Sam on again because what I want to do is we want to document his journey,
Mm.
and so you can tap into his progression. But y'all be strong, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.